Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Decod3rs channel. So tonight we have like two guests, amazing guests from UGS. So Dakota, who just lost the stream, and Jake from UGS, like the CEO, and like now I think you're CFO for Sharky, right?
I'm now the COO.
CEO, nice. Okay, awesome.
Is the CFO.
Nice. Okay, so CEO of Sharky, man, that's exciting, man. Like, I can't like even like imagine your level of excitement after the announcement that you've done, like at NFTNYC. I know even on Twitter. But yeah, man, like it's gonna be exciting, like to talk to you both about everything that you have done so far with UGS and like the future of the platform for like on Sharky and even like the UGS in general. So that's what we're gonna talk about tonight.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah,
definitely excited to be here, and
it's
definitely an exciting event.
Yeah, and we can even start with that, right? Like we're talking about like NFTNYC, right? Because it was like a long week event and stuff. Like, yeah, how do you feel about like meeting your holders and like, like vibing all together at the IRL event like that? Okay.
So the IRL events are so important just because you actually get to, so I think there's a little bit of delay. Sorry, everybody.
Oh, sorry.
The IRL events are so important because you actually get to meet people eye to eye with all the people that you've been connecting for 13 months with digitally online. Luckily, I'd gone to Breakpoint previously where I was able to connect with a good amount of the team. It's where Anton and I were able to actually meet IRL. I hate the term IRL because all of this is real life, but in person. Yeah, no, it was amazing. And the excitement was definitely really cool to see from everybody. But I've been consistently telling everyone I was super excited for Saturday, but I was more excited for Sunday and the week to come because now I get to finally actually start building again versus like keeping everything in the shadows and not being able to actually form the deeper partnerships. Everyone I would talk to, Magic Eden, all these other platforms, I'd have to kind of describe what we want to do with them. And then I would get we'd love to do all this. We have to be transparent. The second option would be something like Sharky. And I'm like, that's great. Anton's a great person. You should definitely consider them. But no, it's exciting now for sure.
Yeah, no, and I think it was like kind of like at the party, like so I went to the whole event because of like the Hoogie setup and stuff, and I wanted to like see the team, etc., and even like meet you guys. But the announcement was kind of like one of the big announcement on stage at that party. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, it was definitely a great venue. Highly venue too. We had like the art gallery. We had the different booths from each team. It was cool because everyone certainly had enough space, but it didn't feel like it was empty at all. I mean, I think there was a couple hundred people there. I would say humbly, definitely the event of NFTNYC for so long.
100%. And what about you, Dakota? How did you enjoy like the venue and like the food, the drinks, and like selling like giving some merch to the people?
Yeah, I did give out a lot of merch. You can hear me, correct?
Yeah, no problem with the sound. Everything's fine. And Dakota Docs.
Well, I mean, I've been doxxed. Like I went to the live events. I posted about it. So a lot of people, I guess, are they like that. But the event was surreal. I mean, UGS and Sharky kind of flew me out to experience it. And Jake said that, he wanted me there to learn the ropes, networking, talking to, all the people that are behind the PFP, and then just see how the company runs during these live events and how I can, kind of bring that back to the company, that networking. So it was a surreal experience. It was great. I handed out a lot of stickers, a lot of shirts, and there was a lot of networking events that I went to, almost like 3 to 4 a day. So it was definitely quite the experience.
I'm stupid. I have the Sharky t-shirt. I should have wear it for the stream. I wanted to do that. Oh fuck!
I gave you a small. I don't think it would have worked.
No, 100%. It fit like perfectly. I just thinking about that. I fucked up.
That's fine. Maybe you'll get it next time.
Yeah, no, 100%. Yeah, we need to do an episode 2 for like talk about like the transition phase and everything, and then I will put like the Sharky t-shirt. But yeah, man, like even like for Jake, like okay, so what pushed you at that moment, like into like the transition and like the acquisition of Sharky? Why now, and what was the timing on even the process?
So it actually really began back in October, I guess was the start of it. Crypto8, fantastic guy, had me on for Twitter Space. Anton was on it. Heard me just.
I'm losing you a bit, Jake. Okay, completely lost you. Jake?
Well,
he's rugging. He's rugging.
Okay,
I can see his internet connection kind of low.
Yeah. You can relay some questions to me if you want.
Yeah, no, 100%. Yeah, so like, do you know, like, Dakota, like basically like the whole process of like the migration, like the acquisition, and why they decided to do that now?
So I won't speak like too much on like the private details, but I do know from what Jake and Anton and Rhea have told me that it just seemed like it was a perfect time. It was like this like catalyst. As you know, Sharky has a lending and borrowing platform that 90% of the space currently uses. I believe they have 85 to 90% market dominance currently over all lending and borrowing platforms. And that's on Solana, right? So they definitely have the entire market in their fists. Now, something that they were missing was the ability to basically long, NFTs. So from my understanding with Sharky, you can mitigate risk by taking out loans and borrowing, correct? Like you can, if you feel the value is going to decrease in the near future, you can take out a loan, and then that can mitigate risk on that NFT, and you can get the instant liquidity. Whereas with Core, with Jake's product, over at UGS, you can, theoretically long NFTs. So if you believe that the value is going to go up, you can purchase 33% of that value of the NFT using Core. So if you wanted to, per se, buy a Decod3rs for, let's say the value of it is 600 SOL in SOL terms, you could pay 33% of that. And then in 3 to 4 days, your liquidation period would come around, and you would have the ability to sell it in profit, if the value of it went up, and then you could split the difference. So that's what Sharky was currently missing. They didn't have that tech out. And we were also, I believe, a competitor at the time. So it was kind of a win-win for the Sharky company to basically, crack 2 birds with 1 stone. And a lot of people think that the acquisition is something bad for UGS, when in reality, it opens up the doors to, countless resources. Sharky has massive market dominance. They have massive connections all over the space, and not even just in Solana, in ETH as well. So it opened up the doors for UGS. And in the future, I think that there's going to be big opportunities with UGS and Sharky to fully dominate this space, as now they have that missing product that they so severely needed,
Hey, gentlemen, sorry about that. I dropped out of my service. Can you hear me?
Yeah, like everything's fine now. Like, I think it's like your internet connection that dropped it.
Yeah. I was entering back into my building. The Four Seasons right now. But yeah, let me kind of rip through that again. So yeah, again, it began back in October. I was on a Twitter space with Crypto8. Anton DM'd me saying that he had heard what we were building, thought we had a similar product, and wanted to find a way to actually collaborate versus compete, like so many try to do in this space. And so, of course, you always take these kinds of calls, and we jumped on a Google Meet face-to-face in this digital sense still. And really had a great conversation, though we were both very guarded. It's kind of funny to reflect on now. He would like give me small pieces of what he was building. I would do the same. And then that was pretty much the end of the conversation. Then from there, it was probably a couple of weeks until Breakpoint. Then we actually both connected in Breakpoint. I think we were at a Helium event. And I turn around, he's wearing the yellow Sharky shirt. I'm like, Anton? And from there, I spent probably the next 5 days every day with him. And we were able to really solidify a great friendship from that. Him, myself, and my co-founder as well. And so then we fly back from Lisbon, FTX collapses. And I think it was a couple of days after that, we jumped on a call, and we're really actually at this point serious about being able to collaborate with one another. The tough part with that, though, is they wanted to build a product like we built, and we wanted access to the depth of liquidity of which they have absurd amount, and access to the users, of which they also have an absurd amount. And the tough part in that kind of a dynamic is they have something I want, they have something, or I have something they want to build. And it's kind of a tough dynamic then where I would essentially be telling them, hey, don't build this, give me what I want and build me up to the point where I would actually be able to be a competitor for them. And the cool part about that, though, is that we had established this friendship where we were able to be transparent about that reality. We didn't have to try to game one another. And so we immediately realized, like, okay, collaboration's not really going to work out here. There's not really a way for us to partner then. And so how can we still make this happen? So we went through a ton of different scenarios, whether it be forming a parent company that would own each of our companies, and then we would each head it. But things like that and all the other scenarios were just so costly and legal expenses and time, most of all, that we really just decided, you know what, easiest thing would just be that Sharky, the larger player here, acquire UGS Labs in this merger and acquisition. And a lot of people think, okay, you get acquired, you're gone, you get bought out. It's not the case at all here. The whole team's staying on. And like we said at the beginning, instead of CEO, I'm COO.
Yes.
Instead of my co-founder being the CTO, he's CFO. And now we are essentially doubling the size of our team, doubling the speed at which we can ship products, and doubling really the capacity at which we're able to market them and engage with the wider Solana ecosystem. And I think when I joined back, like Dakota was describing, the products themselves are so complementary to one another, right?
Yes.
They're loans, we're mortgages, right? You can collateralize your NFT to take out this asset that either want to try to sell, maybe you're looking to arbitrage the Solana price going down, but most people actually do something with that Solana. Well, guess what? Now you can use Core and buy NFTs with as little as 33%.
Yeah, like basically you're allowing people to leverage their liquidity to access to other community and like invest in other NFTs. Did we lost you again?
No.
Okay.
Yeah,
that is still a delay.
It.
Okay, that's fine.
No, there's a little bit of one. Yeah, you can view it as leverage, buy now, pay later. But essentially, at the end of the day, it's the same function.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Like, and like we had a pretty cool show with Dakota, and basically like the whole concept is like, the Sharky was selling and then you were buying, and know that you can both do the same, both direction on the same platform / ecosystem, and that's pretty dope.
Yeah, and to add on that, like Jake said very, very briefly, Sharky has an insane amount of liquidity in their reserves, and their pools, and the amount of people using the platform is genuinely insane. They just reached, I believe, 3 million loans taken total on the platform since release, which is absolutely insane. And take into account that it's just on Solana right now, right? So imagine the possibilities moving on to other chains, right? And then UGS, our utility and our platform and our product going side by side with them, right? Sharing the users, sharing the liquidity pools, sharing everything, and going through these blockchains and just ripping shit up, excuse my language, but that's basically the thought process with it. And we're definitely getting things running on that side. Like on the back end, we have team meetings, every week on that. And it's getting a little bit definitely heated on that. It's starting to fire up. So we're really excited.
That's pretty cool. And what's your daily active user right now?
On the Sharky side or the UGS side?
UGS?
UGS, we probably have, I think, 120 active every day. Open positions that are increasing at probably a 70% week over week.
And so the Sharky number?
I don't have it offhand right now, but the interesting part with that as well, I think Core's only been out for 3 weeks, and we have it in our dashboard beta, right? So the extension, the really enticing part about the product is yet to drop.
Yeah, we talk about Core in the DeFi Decod3rs Show, right? With Divine Dogs, and that was pretty you killed it, man. That was a pretty cool space, with the DeFi guys, and it was pretty impressive.
I'm definitely excited to continue to expand the product itself past even what we've developed this far. I think that'll probably be what really blows up for just the versatility of it. And it really goes back to the ideation stage when we first began building it. Again, we didn't want to build a platform that required users to come to us, kind of creating this competition between us and various other platforms like Magic Eden. At the time, there were no AMMs, but today they exist, so it would be Elixir as well. And instead, we created this browser extension that creates the overlay. This essentially gives us the ability to be the layer to the platforms. So whether it be Magic Eden, Tensor, PaidSwap, Elixir, any of them, it doesn't really matter. We can be built into any of them natively. And if not natively, we can overlay them through the extension.
That's cool. That's pretty cool because like then you are everywhere without doing like the same amount of work for like X number of like AMM like platform that will launch tomorrow, but like your presence will be here for the user that have like your extension, and that's smart. That's cool.
And real quick extension. You go, Jake.
I was just going to say the cool part about that is it creates a complementary relationship where everyone wants to be your friend, right? Instead of drawing users away, competing for market share of this volume game. No, screw that. We just enhance your volume. We enhance the usability of your platform and the experience for your users. And for creators on that side, the same thing applies. We increase the volume that their collections will see. And in a reality where royalties are enforced, we would be dramatically increasing the amount of royalties they see. As traders are able to very easily move into these positions, obviously as using as little as 33% is pretty cool. But then moving out of these positions, as from day one, we built into this extension and the dashboard the ability to sell directly to an AMM without ever having it added any additional liquidity or lists and delists from various exchanges.
Yeah, okay, that's amazing. And like, what about like the volume on Solana itself, right? Like, is there enough a big enough pie for like all of the AMM like to compete with each other, or like and to make like everyone valuable, or is that gonna be basically like what Sharky has done so far? Like it's gonna be like one winner takes all.
So I don't think that it'll be one winner takes all. I think there's definitely enough volume here for everyone to sustain a business. And at the end of the day, we're in a bear market, so this is the worst of the worst that you're seeing. And if my decade in this space, this is definitely one of the worst bear markets that I've seen. And so once volume actually comes back into this space, it's going to be pretty exciting for everyone to be able to eat a lot more off that volume. But again, going back to the point of this, whether one platform is reigning supreme or a couple are, frankly, doesn't matter to me. If there's one platform or multiple platforms, fantastic. I'll be integrated into all of them. So if there's Elixir and PaidSwap, cool. If there's just Elixir, also cool. I'll be on both, or I'll be on just one. And that's really the awesome part about the synergies between Sharky.fi and UGS is that now under the same roof, it ensures that, okay, everyone wants to try to come for the king. Everyone's going to try to come after number one, which is Sharky on the lending side. And so let them try. But guess what? Now that we have an expanded product suite where all the boasting I just did about how core can be adapted and accessible into all these different platforms, well, that's now a product of Sharky.fi. And so, I mean, whether they're number one of loans today or number one of mortgages tomorrow, it won't really matter. The market share is going to be pretty interesting to see how it gets split up.
Yeah, and especially like now that you have like in partnership with like the bigger player, that puts you like in another dimension, like where your business will like even grow even faster and better than when you were like alone in your corner, right?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, we've essentially been attached to the 5th largest app on Solana. Not to mention, again, when I've had these conversations with various platforms, the product we've built it's pretty easy to understand why you would want to build it into your platform if you're an exchange or if you're an AMM. The cool part with that is, like I said, the conversations I've had have always ended with, we would love to do this, but we'll be transparent. We have to talk to Sharky.fi about it as well. And so the number one and the number two options here are now really the only option.
Okay, that makes sense. And like, what's gonna happen for your team and internally? Like, do you migrate everyone like to Sharky, Or like is that there is a split between Sharky and UGS and you keep it that way?
No, we are all Sharky, right? So we're all in the same Slack.
Okay.
Everyone's on the same team. For now, we are keeping the brands and the communities separate.
Okay.
And so, for example, we have Dakota leading community and community growth. And then on the Sharky.fi side, we have NEPA. And each of them will work together in the effort of community development and expanding it. But they're each responsible for their specific community.
That's cool.
The NFTs as well all retain their individual utility and benefits. And that was super important for Anton and I, because we don't want to diminish any value that our holders have, right? And there's a lot of ways of thinking that you're going to do something nice for everybody, but it actually screws everyone. So for example, holders of our NFT get significantly reduced trading fees when they use Core. If we were to go ahead and say, well, now all of Sharky has that as well, that would mean that you don't have to hold our NFT, you could just hold Sharky, or you don't need Sharky, you could just hold UGS, right? And it lessens the value and the selectiveness of who gets access to this kind of a benefit. And so, like we've said from the beginning, that won't happen. It's just for UGS. But what's cool about this, though, is the products that we have in the pipeline. As we build those out as this unified team, that's where we can add the kind of co-benefits to each collection and some interesting ways of kind of working with utility there.
That's pretty exciting. And what's like the sentiment of your community like after the announcement of this acquisition?
A lot of excitement. I think people are really excited that we're working with Sharky.fi. It's also really cool to see that it just makes sense to a lot of people. Obviously, with the jump in SOL and the volatility right now, floors are dipping across the board. Luckily, Sharky hasn't experienced that. I think they actually just jumped in past a couple people that are also in the space. But we're watching unique holder count reach all-time highs. So that's really what matters to me at the end of the day. Is we want more users, more accessibility to the product.
Yeah. What about you, Dakota? Like personally, how do you feel with that announcement, acquisition, and stuff? Like, are you also exciting?
It's very exciting, and I think like I said, it opens the doors up for a lot of resources and a lot of potential from the UGS standpoint of things. And like Jake mentions with the owners count, that's a big focus for us as a utility collection, right? So, and just for reference, the amount of owners that we had was around 830 about 2 weeks ago, and now it's around 800 and I believe 70 or 880. So just seeing that holders count go up and that owners count go up has been, an amazing experience. But again, our main focus is going to be tying users back to Core, right? So because Sharky has such a large dominance over the space in lending and borrowing. And if we can also, because again, acquired, right? So we're definitely going to try to take all the users in the space, and we cover one aspect and Sharky cover one aspect, and we just dominate the entire space through that. And if not, like Jake said, we still can overlay through every other product. So either way, it's a win-win regardless. And for me, the experience has been genuine, and the community has had a lot of positive sentiment over it. But again, things don't come easy, so we have to definitely work for that.
Yeah. I mean, like, it's a new, like direction for your project, and like, your holders needs to be like on board, I guess, with that. And I like, if I can imagine, like, most of the holders are like, like you said, like happy with that because like it's bullish, is going to the right direction for the project, etc. So it's pretty cool. And like, Jack, do you know like if like Core will be integrated to Sharky, and are you going to integrate Sharky into your own application so both community can like interact with like the product of like everyone without like changing communities?
So the products are remaining separate for now. In the next coming months, though, we'll be integrating the platforms.
Okay. And what about like the community by itself? Like, for example, like, I don't know, like Discord migration or even like artwork or like a third collection that will be for both holders. Is that, I guess it's in the pipeline?
So we haven't talked yet about a third collection. So holders, don't concern yourselves with that. What we've discussed though is the possibility of merging the Discords just for the ease of managing two different Discords, but nothing's decided on that front.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So it's still like need a couple of meetings to make sure like everyone is on the same page. That's cool.
Yeah, and if that was decided on, right, the execution of it would have to be absolutely perfect.
Yeah.
And there would have to be a reason for both sides to equally welcome each other. So that's definitely, like, I talked with Jake about that multiple times, and that's something that would have to be decided at the high level and with a lot of careful, a lot of expertise just to get that done properly. It's a very,
because you
very
don't want to kill
significant
yourself
event.
for nothing.
Exactly. Like this is not relative in terms of like merge, but when DeGods and Utes went over to different blockchains, right? It's a perfect example is they took months to do something of that matter. Of course, this is just Discord servers, but you're dealing with actual people, right?
Yeah.
So like how those people feel about it is what really matters. So yeah.
But like, and on the other side of like this merging community, if you don't do that and you keep it separate, is that not adding friction for a new holder that will need to catch up with like this onboarding, like Sharky, the Sharky ecosystem, but also the UGS, and like understand and catching up that it's part of the same ecosystem now?
So each, I think, present their own challenges and benefits, right? Keeping them separate ensures that we're able to remain adaptable, right? If Sharky does something for their Discord, their community, it doesn't affect us. If we do something, it doesn't affect them.
Yeah.
The challenge, though, obviously on that end, is having to manage both. On the flip side, being able to merge them ensures that, okay, we can keep everything fun, exciting, all in one place, really grow the community in one local area. The downside with that, though, presents the different interests of our holders, right? Sharky is a very like a softer brand and an easier tool to use, whereas UGS has been branded as kind of an edgier brand, and the tool itself is definitely one that is more used by experienced traders. Or on the buy now, pay later side, of course, you can use that very easily as a collector. But we're anticipating a majority of people will probably be using it on the trading side.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense. And like, in terms of like the top to bottom and like bottom to top in terms of like user personas, like Sharky, like by the UX UI, try to onboard like everyone on Solana and like putting them like using loans on NFT, etc. Right? And you, like you mentioned, it's like more like for experienced user, like top to bottom, right? Am I correct?
Okay. Yeah, we've made it very simple to use and very simple to manage. That's really important, especially with a tool like this where you can use quickly.
Yeah.
And so, at the end of the day, both are very simple to use. But again, ours is, you'll be able to use ours in a bit more of an intense way. And so you just want to make sure that the identity of a product like that is intact. But like I said, I think it's all open to the possibilities, and I'm probably leaning more towards combining them. But then it just will educate those that might not be interested right away in accessing the tool like this.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, future will tell. Like, if like, have you seen like some Sharky user jumping to UGS server and like a product? That's cool. Yeah,
immediately. Yeah, I think within like the first 5 minutes of the announcement and everyone's tweeting about it, I think we saw like 20, 30 people from Sharky jump in. We definitely saw a surge in use of the product. And I mean, again, this is literally with just a dashboard, like a copy and paste kind of process right now. Once the extension drops, which a little bit of alpha, I would add the extension, go to Magic Eden, everybody. But once we announce the dropping of it, I think it's going to be pretty amazing to see who and how they use it. Because imagine you want to buy an NFT, you don't have enough, you collateralize your NFT, get a loan, still maybe it's not enough. Well, guess what? Now with Core, it certainly is time to only buy it 33%.
No, that's pretty dope, man. And like, what are like the advantage like that you give right now as you holders and even like Sharky holders, I guess? Like, what are the benefits using your tools? Like you mentioned, like reducing fees, right?
For holding the NFT?
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you have the NFT, it dramatically reduces the trading fee. So for anyone that might not understand what Core is an automated liquidity provider. It allows you to purchase NFTs for as little as 33% and as much as 99% of their listing price directly off the exchange that you already use. And so if you're a holder of our NFT, we don't, for anybody, first off, we don't require any external collateral in this. We don't charge any interest. The only collateral considered is the NFT that you're buying. It's locked in non-custody situation. So it's, you can have it in your wallet, get all the utility from it, but it is frozen under the conditions of the smart contract, which essentially are two functions that are frozen. You can't send it to another wallet, And you can't sell it or list it to sell it below the liquidation threshold because obviously you would have been liquidated already.
It makes sense.
But outside of that, that's literally about it.
Okay.
And so with so how do we make money in this, right? We charge 2 fees and you're only ever charged one of them, and it's on the back end. There's a borrower fee and a seller fee. So if you add liquidity to the point of taking over the NFT, that's the borrower fee. It's the lesser of the two, kind of like a maker and taker setup. So the borrower fee is 1.5% to the public, or if you're a holder of our NFT, it's 0.5%. So it's 66% discount on that. The fees, by the way, there are based upon the amount you borrowed, not the total purchase price or whatever you might be taking it at, over at in the future if the floor price went up. On the other side, that is the selling fee. So that's 5% to the public, or 2.5% if you're a holder of our NFT, so a 50% discount. And that also is based upon the amount you borrowed, not the price you bought it at, or if it's, let's say you buy 100 soul NFT, goes from 100 to 150 to 500, that makes no difference to me. It's based upon the amount you borrowed when you first bought it, and that's what you're paying on. So it's amazing because it's a fixed fee system. So you don't have to worry about, okay, what am I putting down? Does that mean I have to pay more if I put down less? No, none of that. It's fixed to the conditions we set up.
Yeah, and again, by you doing that kind of setup and mortgage like your NFT, then you increase your liquidity, you increase the volume of trading. It's beneficial for the whole ecosystem. That's cool. That's nice.
Yeah, we wanted to make it simple for the DGen and really useful for the collector. Because I mean, for myself, for example, I mean, you're a DGOD holder. I see the beautiful pieces behind you. I wanted to get into DGODs before I even heard about any of what was going on with Utes. And I think DGODs were at like 10 grand at that time.
Yeah.
Turn around the next day, they're at 12. The next day, they're at 14. The next day, they're at 16.
Yeah, you DCA into
and I wasn't priced out.
Yeah.
Like I didn't not have enough liquidity, but I didn't have the risk tolerance at that point to buy it because it just went up 60% in like 72 hours. And so if I was able to use something like Core, put down 33%, knowing, okay, I'll just add a little bit of liquidity each day. Well, I could have locked myself in at 10K, could have jumped to 16. If I was looking to flip, well, great. I only put down, 3,300, and now I can flip it for a $6 profit, minus of course whatever the fees would be in that. Or I would hold on to it and no, great. It's a $16,000 asset. I only have to pay back $7,000 or $6,700. Everyone wins, right?
Okay. And like, what would be like the difference between like fractionalization and that scenario?
So fractionalization, you don't own the NFT. You own fragments of the NFT.
Okay.
In this, you own the NFT. You have the kind of like owning a house, right? You don't fractionalize a house unless it's like in an REIT, right? And then you're trading shares of a house or a property. With this, it's like buying a house. You can go ahead because the property value jumped and sell the house and never had paid a mortgage payment because we don't charge you interest. And congrats, you flipped a house. Or you might want to stay in the house for 30 years and you want to retire in there, you want to live there forever, great, pay off the house. So pretty simple in that sense. So fractionalization is very different. And that's another cool part about how we built this, because we're very easily able to partner with platforms like Elixir that have fractionalized NFTs, or GigaDAO with I think it's Gigadex that have fractionalized NFTs.
So you can fractionalize and then like doing a mortgage and like doing another derivative product. Man, like Solana NFT5 will be interesting in a couple of months, man.
Oh, 100%. With a product like ours, it's going to be so exciting to see what people use it and how people use it.
That's cool. And okay, what are the friction that you have, or like the biggest like point that you're trying to resolve, like to onboard even more people every day? What's the most friction?
I think it's just knowledge. I think it's just knowledge of the product. We're a very small team originally. Now we're obviously double the size. There was only like 5 of us.
Okay.
And I think the extension going live, not to mention the native integrations that we've already partnered with a number of exchanges to do, I think that's going to explode the awareness of the product. Obviously, this acquisition by Sharky.fi is going to help put rocket thrusters on that awareness. But I think that's probably the only friction.
Okay, that's cool. Yeah, so you just need time and execution, and then you will get to the top market cap on Sol. Let's go.
I mean, I hope so. And I mean, it's cool because no one's really built what we've built. We also don't have to deal with the questions of, okay, do we apply royalties? Of course we do. We support creators. and there's no one else that's built what we've built, so we don't even have to have the conversation of, well, what if a yaw comes in and doesn't charge royalties? And I think by the time someone does catch up to what we built, there's competitors like Generous Robots are trying to build something like what we built. Very different, because again, the extension is the key part. But by the time people do catch up, if they were to try to go ahead and say no royalties, I think the culture here has shifted enough to no fuck you pay royalties that it won't even be a conversation.
And plus now that with your partnership with like Sharky, like it's almost too big to fail now. And like you put in a position or like, people can try to catch up, but there will always be like the laggers. So it's good.
Well, I wouldn't say it's too big to fail, right? In the US,
not yet.
Very sensitive. In the US, that's a very sensitive term for us.
Yeah,
especially like anyone that's been in Bitcoin, as long as I've been in Bitcoin. But no, I think that nothing really is too big to fail. But at the end of the day, the network that we have now and the intention behind our product is crucial, right? We don't take fees away from exchanges. We don't mess with their volume. We don't do it to creators with their royalties. We really just want to enhance them. And truly, I challenge anyone to find a way that people don't benefit off our product outside of course, getting liquidated, which, again, as one of the founders, I truly hope no one gets liquidated, because our business model is perfect without it. I'd rather everyone has a fantastic experience, either takes over the NFT they've always wanted, or executes on 3 times the amount of trades that they were able to make otherwise.
Yeah, 100%. So maybe too big to fail. Even for the banks that are too big to fail or failing, maybe I should stop using that term for sure. But so Decod3rs looks like it's all on your shoulders, like to build a community, expand the hype on crypto Twitter, and make sure you get to 1 million users on UGS next week.
Yeah, gotta get to. So a funny thing is Sharky posts all the time. They had I think they had around 300 or 900 users 6 months ago, and now they have around 17,000 active users. So it is insane. And there's not even that many active trading wallets in Solana. So people outside of Solana or people that aren't actively trading NFTs are currently using their lending and borrowing service, which is insane. Because people always talk about, oh, how do we onboard users? How do we onboard users? How do we bridge? How do we do this as frictionless as possible? And people have yet to see that they've done it, right? They've done it. And us being a part of that company and bringing UGS along for the ride and being a counterpart to them is going to just be so crucial. Because like I talked to you before, Sharky, and Jake talks about this all the time, Sharky is basically default short, where you can mitigate risk on your NFT if you think the value of it's going to go down through that lending and borrowing. Whereas UGS, if you think the NFT is going to go up, you can basically take a long on the NFT while buying it for a very cheap price. And then, boom, you win. So we cover both sides of the market without having an order book. And it's just so simple for the user. And this extension is a big thing that's going to be coming out. That's just going to make it so simple. Again, compatible with all the marketplaces, right? So you don't even have to go to our site. You can just have this extension live. Let's say you want to buy a famous fox and you go to Magic Eden or Tensor, and boom, you can just buy a famous fox for 33% of the value. And then let's say you don't want to buy one, or you can lend a famous fox that you already have, So it's the same thing. We cover both sides of the market, and that's going to be very exciting moving forward. But in terms of community growth, we're definitely pushing that. Like we talked about just now, the Discords possibly merging. That's something that would be really cool. But again, we definitely need to get some things on our side set up first, right? Like the DAO, basically overhauling the entire thing. We did an entire Discord overhaul. We did an entire team overhaul. We removed inactive mods, whitelist hunters, etc. Just basically, we want to have a completely organized, completely autonomous DAO, active, engaged, and people just enjoy being there before we even considered anything going towards Sharky. Because if we can't do it properly ourselves, what's the point in piggybacking, right? So you definitely have to be an individual in the space to stand out.
You will get destroy your community to just be part of the Sharky. That would be sad.
Hey, I'm waiting for you to become part of the UGS community.
Yes,
I gotta onboard you, bro.
Yeah,
I have to onboard you.
Please onboard me, man. I set up the liquidity on the side. We can do that live if you want. That's no problem.
Yeah, we'll do it. I'll see you in the holders chat, and you can talk to some of the holders. We have some. UGS has. One thing about UGS that's different from a lot of collections is we do have quite a few whales in there, and it's very interesting talking to those guys. They they definitely have good conversations, very
Yes.
intellectual, and it's great talking to them.
And that's what I do, man. Like that's why I asked you for the whale shot. With the whale shot, like what's the minimum counter? It looks like it's 20, 25. So that's a couple of dollars. I will need to put like some liquidity on the side, but yeah, I can definitely buy a couple tonight. And that's yeah, because again, it's a nice like momentum announcement, etc. And like it's pretty bullish for the whole project anyway. So yeah, I will do that. You will see me in the chat.
I know you love investing in builders. I know you love investing long term. So this is definitely one of those opportunities. I'm not going to shill too much, but I will say Jake was asked a question during one of our town halls last Monday or this Monday, and someone was like, "Well, are whales going to be getting anything bonus out of this, acquisition?" And he just starts laughing. And I was like, what, am I missing something? And he's like, boys, don't worry. We got something pretty big coming up for people that do have the whale roll. So, I'm not shilling, but for people that do have the whales.
Man, yeah. Like this stream is for you, man. So you can chill as much as you want. That's the goal.
My bags are loaded, bro. I'm waiting on you.
Yeah. How many UGS do you have?
I've got around 30.
Nice.
I'm at the whale status currently.
Let's go. What about you, Jack? Did you switch your own flow?
Couple hundred. Yeah, to that effect, I don't even know how to drop alpha about this, but all right, fuck it, I'll drop a little alpha. If you look at like any venture group that's out there, what are they used for, right? Really good networking circle. That's pretty easy to duplicate. I'll just bring some of the biggest people in Solana, I'll bring in the biggest people on ETH, I'll bring in some Chainlink whales. It's pretty easy to duplicate. What's not easy to duplicate is tying that to a product, right? Not many of them actually have a platform like Sharky.fi. Not many of them have a protocol like we do with UGS and Core. So put 2 and 2 together there and imagine what kind of tools and accessibility we could give you.
Yeah, that's gonna be nice. Yeah, because like again, like you always have like another like liquidity that can bring to the product and like do some interesting move for sure. So yeah, like imagine a premium features or something like that. And VP, like like how many whales status for the whale status? It's 25, right?
Indeed.
Yes. Yeah, I'll say I'll give you like the actual alpha. It'll be between 20 and 25 is where you'll need to be for what we're looking to drop.
Okay, so
but the current whale status right now, which is the interesting thing about how we designed this, the actual whale status is 50. Because with 50 NFTs, you're actually able to create liquidity pools. Obviously, you can create a liquidity pool that's public, so anyone right now can go to our platform and add liquidity to Power Corner and yield off of its use. But again, when we're talking about accessibility to people that aren't really able to pick up 50, we want to be able to deliver a lot of utility to those people. Nice. I think we have some pretty cool things in the pipe.
That's cool. And can the whales have like a dinner with you? Like not a one-on-one dinner maybe, but like a group whales dinner stuff?
Oh, for sure. Let's go. Yeah, this coming breakpoint, you should definitely be a whale for this coming breakpoint.
Oh, okay. So you're going to Solana breakpoint in Amsterdam?
Oh, 100%. Yeah, I think
I'm gonna see you there.
Is going to be there. Yeah, definitely.
Awesome. Okay. So I need to have my 2530 UGS in my wallet by that time. That's cool.
I mean, real quick for retrospect, right? Like these live events, they went all out, right? Sharky, UGS, they went all out. It was arguably the best event, in our biased opinion, it was the best event, but they went all out for it. And a lot of people liked about it. And the UGS floor price went up to like 8 SOL, 7.8 SOL before the event. And Sharky went to 18s, almost passing 20s, right? So just imagine what they'll have planned for breakpoint. So that should be pretty exciting. It's definitely the biggest event of the year. And I think they're going to go even more all out.
Nice. That's cool. Yeah. Okay. That's interesting. And like, okay, so your utility project, right? So as an NFT, like you have the community project versus utility project, and utility project like tend to have like a selling floor price because like you basically calculate like the ROI or based on the utility, right? So are you okay with that, or are you trying to do something to break that selling that will put you like in the top 10 projects soon enough?
I can take this, Jake. So from a community standpoint, right? Like I agree with you wholeheartedly. Utility, we've never seen a utility project go over an 100 SOL floor other than ABCs.
Yeah.
ABCs was the only one that did it, and it was backed by, I don't want to like dish shade, but like this multi-billionaire scammer guy that everyone invested in because Hades Swap was crazy. And 2 weeks ago they just took down their validator on Hades Swap, so that's gonzo, and they're back to I think that 30 soul floor. So there's never been a utility project, like a real organic utility project that's gone
like
over.
Smith or FFF, basically.
Yeah, Blocksmith was very close, FFF was very close, but they've never reached it. And honestly, it's because utility at some points can be limiting, right? There's a limit. Like you own so many Blocksmith, but those Blocksmith haven't surpassed DeGods, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And they most likely won't, because the community factor, that perceived value in NFTs is the true, worth of it, the perceived value. How much do people think that's worth, and how much will people pay for this? And when you have utility tied to it, it can be limiting to some degree, right? Like people can do formulas, people can do math. Like for a Sharky, hey, I'm getting this much fishy token, and then you divide math and you say, okay, well, I'm getting this much, right? And it should be worth X amount. So that's definitely the analytical value. Whereas with speculative value, that depends wholeheartedly on the community and the person leading it, right? So like me, Jake, the Sharky team, how much people believe in us, how much people like the brand, how much people, just enjoy being there is the speculative value part, right? So that's something that we definitely want to push wholeheartedly. But right now, we definitely want to be up there with Sharky, right? Like Jake said, we have, a couple hundred users here and there on core. Sharky has 17,000, right? So like if we can get to that, that's thousands range, that 15, 10, 5,000, whatever the number may be. Once we have that down on a lock, I think people will start seeing the true value on the analytical side. And then we can start pushing like, hey, this community, and then we can get that perceived value. But I do agree with you that utility can be limiting, but it's only limiting by the person behind that community, right? And thankfully, behind the UGS community, we have Jake, myself, and a lot of other big names in the Sharky community as well. So it should be relatively easy to push that.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, what I like with utility is in a way, I think right now, like communities project have like the highest market cap, but in a way, like you can imagine like in a bull market, like community project can, like if they don't have the capability of like always pushing the hype and stealing the timeline, then those projects are going like down, and then like people can move from those projects to a utility project because you can understand like the business model, etc. And then we can see like a second wave of utility project like coming up and basically breaking like the 100 soul floor price and stay above that, and with the volume, etc.
I am expecting exactly what you just said, right? Like that second wave of utility projects. We've seen FFF pushing extremely hard recently. Sharky and UGS have gotten extreme amounts of volume recently. I think on UGS, we're getting 30 to 40 sales a day, and Sharky's also realizing that same amount. And actually today, one of the biggest things that happened on the Sharky side of things, and we had a team meeting today and everyone was really excited about it, because there's always been this thing between Sharky and Elixir. It's been like this unspoken thing. Even though Sharky has full market dominance on lending and borrowing, Elixir always had a higher floor price because of their community. Community, amazing. We spoke with Swerver at the NYC event and they're amazing. But then community, like you said, can only last so long, right? Unless you're constantly pushing it. And today, Sharky's floor price actually went over that of Elixir for the first time in, I think, 5 months. Which was like huge, right? Good. And a lot of people noticed it and started talking about it on Twitter. So we're definitely rolling with that. And same with UGS. UGS has seen so many sales in the past 2 weeks. I think upwards of 600 to 700 sales in the past 2 weeks, which has been amazing. But again, we need to keep that going through core and working with Sharky.
And also, I want to add also for transparency, the truth here, guys, for the past 6 months has been that we've been working through this merger and acquisition. Yeah. So the tough part and the reality of that is you can't, during this period, go ahead and start breaking the mold, start doing groundbreaking things, because it wouldn't necessarily jeopardize the merger and acquisition, but it might go ahead and fuck with some of the tokenomics of what we're going to do. Now that this is over, like I said to everyone over the weekend, I'm not excited for Saturday. I've known it's coming. That's not exciting. Great, I get to tell everyone. I'm excited now that the reins are off and I get to actually start deploying all the things that we've wanted to build. And so utility project, fantastic. But art revamp, look, I know our art is Like 30% are these great pieces. I love the PFP I have up here. The remaining 70%, they can do with a lot of work. So we're gonna have an art upgrade, and
Nice.
what is that? That's surface level. But to the community side, to the cool things that we can actually start to launch on the community side that isn't necessarily just tied to the utility of the product, we can actually start deploying those now because this acquisition is finalized. Everyone knows about it. And so again, purely a utility project, no longer.
No, that's cool. And are you going to have like a funny like art upgrade mechanism that I can stream with you guys?
Oh, 100%. Yeah,
Let's
we're not going to
go.
do some basic bullshit where it's just like, oh yeah, use tokens to upgrade art. No, it's going to be something exciting. It's going to be something fun. It's going to be something that you can game and do cool things with to get cooler upgrades to things. And so I can't leak that alpha yet. But yeah, no, it's going to be a really exciting art upgrade.
Okay. So close to get more alphas. That's nice. And yeah, man, like that's cool. Yeah, and like Dakota, like you mentioned, like the future is multi-chain, right?
The future is indeed multi-chain. You're really trying to peel the alpha out.
I don't know what I'm just asking question, right? Like, and then you answer, you don't answer.
I mean, like I said, and Jake will probably talk on this. Is Sharky is based on technically Solana right now, right? So like, and it's already got around 17,000 active users. And yeah, like it is a big belief in both companies, or I guess the company now, that multi-chain is something that is, is key to
it's
get
something
more
that's
users.
it's necessary. Look, you can be a maxi, and first off, again, I got into the digital asset space in 2013. If I'm a maxi for anything, it's Bitcoin. But unfortunately, this past cycle, we've seen toxic maximalism. I'm a Bitcoin maxi, but a realist with it. I equate it to Bitcoin being the internet. It has its special place in everyone's heart, and it has immense utility over everything else. But does that mean I don't like all of a sudden Apple or Microsoft or Android? No, those are tech plays. Ethereum, let's include Avalanche, Solana. Those are tech plays. Solana, I find to be by far the best tech. And so at the end of the day, I want to drive as much value back to Solana. And so there's no plan to take our community multi-chain, to drop NFTs multi-chain, none of that. But our products, our business, an actual business that we don't need to put a facade on and move our, no, I'm not trying to talk shit, but we can actually take core, we can actually take Sharky to other chains and have it not mess with our community. We can extract value from other chains and users there by providing a service to them and bring it back to our holders on Solana. It's a bit like a modern day digital Viking. You don't have to get so obsessed with the NFT now needs to be multi-chain. Come on, let's make it based in this asset. Otherwise, everyone should just go to based in Bitcoin because that is truly the greatest depth. But yeah, core, Sharky, it's been in our roadmap since day one that we're going to be taking core multi-chain. It just makes sense. But Solana is a great place for people to build on. It's a great place for you to build something that breaks, to test it out, to build it back up. It's also a great place for users to experiment. I'm sure pushing, I don't know if you had been based on Ethereum before, but I'm sure you're testing it now. Transaction fees that are costing even just $5. Even just $5. Try using Tensor with $5. I know Blur does weird custody stuff where they hold the money, so you don't need to be actually executing on the blockchain. But look, we want to execute on the blockchain. We want everything to be on chain. And so, again, Solana is in my opinion, the best smart contract for builders for mass adoption at this point. And so, but at the same time, products and depth of liquidity on other chains definitely needs to be tapped.
But is there a way, like somehow, like to have, like, I don't know, like I'm on ETH, I'm connecting on like a UGS platform, and in there is an oracle or like a bridge or something like that we have right now, or like something else that's more innovative than that?
You don't even you don't even need a bridge. You don't even need a bridge. We've already built it. There's some alpha for you. It's already built. First off, on the core side, I'll send you some info off this call.
That's interesting.
So you can see how easy it is to immediately attach Ethereum's chain, Avalanche's chain. We can add Matic tomorrow. They're an EVM, but still just their wallets. It's very easy for core to adapt multi-chain.
That's cool.
Sharky is a little bit more complex, but it's already
done. That's cool. And that's bullish, man. Okay, we're gonna sweep the floor even harder.
Yeah,
Let's go.
I'll keep you to your word.
Bro, like every time I say that in the stream, like either doing it during the stream or I can even like I already found. You know what? I can do it now.
Hey, well, what I will say is, I don't know about your, your risk threshold, but you could also test out core utilizing it. But you might want to wait till the extension is publicly live before
Bro,
using that.
you have my DM. You tell me what to do when I need to do it, and I will do that.
All right, I'll DM you after this. I think Jake will also
Okay.
DM you some stuff on the multi-chain, but
Awesome.
But yeah, overall, and I'll finish this up quick. It's definitely a surreal experience, like this acquisition. It opens up the doors for a lot of resources, and we want to start onboarding new community members, right? Because UGS is old, right? Like we need to start turning it over, start getting the new community recycling, right? So that's something we're looking towards doing, and these podcasts, these spaces help quite a bit in that regard. So we're definitely going to be hopping on to more of these. I think that it was very beneficial speaking to you. And if there's anyone that you would like us to speak to in the future, we would be more than down to myself or Jake would be more than down to speak with anyone regarding this topic. A lot of people have questions. A lot of people are concerned and a lot of people are super excited. And we kind of want to bring everyone to that positive sentiment standpoint while also buying some UGS, or Sharky, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, both. Yeah, I like.
Yeah, well, actually,
yeah.
Talking about.
Oh,
sorry. I was just gonna say, while talking about using core, you should whenever Mad Labs that actually drops, if you want to hit those on secondary, you should check those out using core.
Oh, what? Sorry, what? They're using core?
Yeah, we'll have it. I think Vittler might be dumping his Mad Lads whitelist. Are you gonna be holding? You're gonna be holding?
If I can't meet public, which I don't know what the fuck it's gonna be, because they looks like they got DDoS.
They delayed it again now. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean that's probably gonna be delayed tomorrow. If I can get one more from the public mint, that would be cool. But yeah, I got like the whitelist. I got one. I got a rug. So it's a rug.
Congrats.
But yeah, thank you. But
they have a space going on, taking a lot of the audience away. They have a space with around. I've never seen this before. I don't know if it's botted. I honestly feel like it might not be. There's a space going on with Mad Lads right now that has almost over 4,000 listeners, which is absolutely insane. I haven't seen something like that. I don't think ever actually. Maybe I saw it a couple of times during the absolute top of the bull run. I've never seen this before, and it's shocking. It might be a little bit, of course, it's a little botted, but they have around 4.6 thousand people in there. Austin Federa from Solana speaking, and a lot of top people are speaking in that space.
We had them on the channel like before NYC, and like the space we had like 1,500 people. And on like the side, it's crazy, man. And doing for 1 hour, like for 30 minutes over like the 1 hour, I had crazy echo. So the sound was fucking bad, but they stayed.
Well, here's the thing is, now it's 5.3K people.
Let's go.
It's definitely botted a little bit, but this is crazy. I don't know. They've been DDoS like probably 4 times now, and I think it'll continue. Someone just doesn't want this mint to happen.
Yeah,
but it'll happen. It'll happen.
And by the way, in terms of like content marketing strategy, like, are you going to like power up with like Sharky team? Like, what's the plan with that?
Sorry about that. I can take that. Yeah, of course. The combination of our marketing teams now with Dakota, with Lucifer, with our boy Jackson that leads our marketing on the UGS side, mixed with Eva from the Sharky.fi team, Nepa, it's about to dominate. And again, once we can drop some of these alpha pieces that we've been building out, I think it's gonna be pretty easy to dominate the engagement.
Okay. Yeah, man. Like still the timeline after I split the floor, please. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Hey, real quick on because we mentioned Biba and Nepa. Nepa's their community leader and Biba's like their marketing head. And to be quite honest with you, working with them has been such an educational experience, especially Biba. Biba is a professional at marketing. Like he's worked for a multitude of companies. He's ran his own companies, and I'm a bit younger in the space, right? So I've definitely been like, not only is this great, right? Like I like working for UGS, I like working for Sharky. I really love where the company's headed, and I think that the utility is amazing. I also get to learn, from the best, right?
Yeah.
So it's been an
100%.
amazing experience, and
Yeah.
it's pretty cool. I've gotten into calls twice a week, 3 times a week with these people, and working with them. Like, they'll come up with ingenious ideas,
Nice.
and then now it's like, okay, execute the ideas,
Yeah.
right? So that's what we
cool.
do, and we're gonna
Yeah,
have
man,
some
like-
cool stuff coming next week, I believe.
Let's go. Yeah, I mean,
Actually, a little alpha here
yeah.
right now. I got
Yes.
Adam Sandler right next to me. I'll send you guys a photo of this in a second
Okay.
when I get a drink with him.
What? You actually have Adam Sandler next to you?
Yeah, we're at the Four Seasons. That's why all this fucking annoying music's going on right now. See, boys,
That's cool.
the crypto dominates the life. I'm sitting here speaking with you guys about amazing Web3 and crypto, and I got Adam Sandler sitting here looking at me like I'm a crazy person.
I get Adam Sandler to sweep the floor, bro.
Yeah, please bring Adam Sandler on the channel. Let's go.
Adam Sandler, that's pretty cool, Jake.
That's cool. But yeah, man, like I think I don't want to take more of your time, man. Like we are above the hour, so we're gonna reach the format of the stream. I really hope you liked what we have done so far. But yeah, I have like a couple of questions for you, and then to just wrap up the show and like the space. But if anyone have like any question from Twitter Space on the YouTube live chat, do not hesitate. Raise your hand, put a comment, and we will answer. But you just have like a couple of minutes, so don't be shy. Please don't be shy. But so Jack and even Dakota, like same question for you both. What's the question you wish people ask you but they never do? Jake?
I don't even know. That's a weird question. Usually I don't get stumped by them. What's the question?
The what?
Don't ask me that I wish they do.
Yeah.
I'm not getting boring one. It'd be related to Bitcoin because that's my thing.
Oh.
Like I'm a crackhead for Bitcoin. Like
Nice.
I will like my friends are smiling at me right now because they know how annoying I am whenever the one Buffalo Trace in me and bring up crypto, and I'll just jump into why I hate Janet Yellen and Jerome Powell and start talking about Bitcoin.
Yeah.
But I don't really know what question to pose there for you.
Okay. Is that do you think ordinal is a fade or it's here to stay?
What is a phase? Say that again.
The ordinals, do you think it's here to stay or is that a fade and they're gonna next month we're not going to hear about it anymore?
That is actually a good question. Not one I like getting because I don't know. I have a bit of a jaded view on it just because, again, a decade watching Bitcoiners grow. This past cycle is like anyone that got in 2020, their perspective is that NFTs exist. 2013, there was just Bitcoin. Litecoin had emerged and like Chainlink was being built, Ethereum was being built. But ordinals are a weird thing because NFTs are about capturing culture, right?
Yeah.
That's why Ethereum has such a hold on NFTs because they're a very culture-focused NFT chain. Solana is a very builder-focused chain. That's why you have so many utility projects on Solana. I couldn't name you fucking one NFT-related utility project on Ethereum. And so ordinals are weird because the culture of Bitcoiners is not Udi. Udi's a great guy. I've spoken to Udi a number of times. And out of the Bitcoin maxis everyone has seen and learned about from this cycle, he's probably the most genuine about it. And I think that you bring the culture to Bitcoin, it could be created. I just don't think that it's inherent to what Bitcoin is about. So I don't think that'll be here today, gone tomorrow. I think that there's been NFTs related to Bitcoin. I mean, shit, we talk about digitals, Cassius coins. I still have some. If anyone remembers Cassius coins, they were physical coins that you can redeem for actual Bitcoin in amounts of like 1, 10, 100. 1,000. And so I don't know. I think I would far more appreciate NFTs on Bitcoin. I just think that it has to be something so significant. Maybe that's where we actually get serious about NFTs because I don't think NFTs purely remain a trading of JPEGs. I think inevitably your driver's license, your birth certificate, your social security card will be a NFT.
Yeah.
It's far more useful for that than the current systems and rails that we have today.
Yeah.
And maybe perhaps on Bitcoin, those form there. Like your banking ledger is on Bitcoin, but it's to be seen.
Yeah. I mean, like for example, for me, like when I started like NFT and I tried to dig into it and like check how people push an NFT on Solana, it was so surprising for me that you were able to fucking edit the metadata and change the image like as much as you want, you know what I mean? But like with Ordinals, just the fact that it's just inscribed in like a SAT and that's it, you can touch it and it's done, it's immutable. That's for me, that's what an NFT is, right? And like I think there is a huge like paradigm shift that doing NFTs and inscription on Bitcoin over like ETH, Solana. Even if you're obviously you can like put that immutable whatever, but like the core like concept of NFT on Bitcoin makes way more sense than any other chains at least. So yeah, like seeing like the ecosystem changing and like having that level of volume on BTC, that's gonna be fun to watch for the next few months for sure.
Yeah, I real quick, so my stance on it is I guess a little bit different, right? Like one of the a common opinion that people say is, oh, ETH is for ETH and Solana are very different, right? Solana, like Jake said, builder chain. ETH is more of like I would say artistic, more so. I don't have the exact word for it. I'll stick with artistic, right? It's just very eccentric. Solana is more like, hey, build this, get these users, TPS speeds. We're pushing out this builder censored, right? And I think with Bitcoin, it'll also be centered around something. I don't think it'll be the one come one all. I think with blockchain technology, like one of the things that I love about blockchain technology is you could make a blockchain for each walk of life, right? So like, let's say, like Reddit is a perfect example. Reddit, you could search up golf on Reddit and there's a golf group. It's not like when you go on Reddit, they push this golf group out to you. You have to know, you search up golf, and then they have a group with, let's say, like 200,000 people in it. You join that group, and now you're a part of that group for golfing. And then you can search up MMA, and then there's a group for MMA on Reddit. You can search up anything on Reddit, there's a group for it, right? So that's my kind of stance on blockchain as well as on Solana. It's building, it's utility, it's centered around that. On ETH, it's art, it's collectors, it's this, it's that. On Bitcoin, I do think it'll be a bit more of a kind of like Pokemon cards. You know how people collect Pokemon cards and they're like grails and treasures and stuff like that. I think Bitcoin will be more centered around that. And each blockchain, like Arbitrum is very gaming focused, like extremely gaming focused. All of the games on Arbitrum that are launching, all of the projects that are launching are games. It's centered a blockchain for gaming. So I think that's what we'll see in the future is blockchains for specific walks of life. Will there be a blockchain for one come, one all? I don't know, but I can't perceive that, right? Like I just can't.
No, the quick answer there is no. The same way that like interoperability of the internet, like there is no just www. Well, I guess www is the World Wide Web. It began with localized access points, and now it's the World Wide Web. The same thing will happen with blockchain. And the unfortunate part about that is in 1990, with HTTPS coming, we had cypherpunks that all had this grand vision of a World Wide Web freeing us. And now, unfortunately, you have kids shaking their ass on TikTok, not having any idea about how the internet works. And unfortunately, I think the same thing will come with blockchain, where we have these grand ambitions and this beautiful technology for us to really free ourselves, almost like a printing press moment. But I think in 20, 30 years, it'll be obscured to the point where you won't know that you're using blockchain. CBDCs will be out, and they will all be interoperable. And to talk about gaming, by the way, guys, no one talks about them, but fucking Avalanche, like they don't get enough credit. I mean, not the greatest tech in the world, but I mean, actually it's fantastic tech. And if I were to show any gaming project, Shrapnel, people definitely need to check out Shrapnel and Avalanche.
Okay. Well, you know what will be here in 20, 30 years, UGS and Sharky. 20, 30 years, that low bar platform. It's gonna be here, so.
And Jake, when are you going to on TikTok to make like some content and drive a mass adoption?
Bro, that's why I've got Dakota. Look at that young guy.
Let's go.
No.
That's his generation. I'm 29. I can't do that.
Those fucking. I'll be completely honest with you. I asked one of my close friends. His name's King Chungus, and he runs Soul City Poker Club. The guy's like running this multi-million-dollar poker organization in Web3, and his NFTs get rev share, and he has this cult following. And I'm pretty close with him, so I asked him. I was like, "Yo, I'm going to my first live NFT event. Thanks to like Sharky and UGS, they're flying me out, and I'm gonna experience it." I was like, "So, what are the type of people I'm gonna meet, right?" And he was like, "Dude, I'm sorry to break it to you, but like they're absolutely fucking degenerates. Like okay, I won't go too into it, but like everyone there at that event, there was some amazing people there.
Yeah.
The majority are degenerates. Like I never understood why degenerate was such a popular word in this space until I literally met them, and I was like, wow, this is insane. I was like, these people are absolutely crazy, like genuinely crazy. So TikTok. No. We can hire like we can hire like a 16-year-old for that. I'm gonna be like 20.
You're too old.
I'm gonna be like 22 by the time we get into TikTok marketing. But hey, like these AMAs, these podcasts, I'd love to jump on more of these because these are very exciting, and we get people like you into UGS, right? And then the word of mouth spreads. Like when you buy UGS, if you buy UGS and you start using the platform and you start liking the platform, you mention it to your friends and your friends mention it to their friends. And then an entire network builds. And that's that word of mouth marketing. So we don't even have to talk to your friends. You talk to your friends for us if you like the platform. So that's one of our main goals is doing that interweb, marketing per se, that word of mouth.
Actually, I completely forgot about it until you just said that. I will say a highlight of the event Saturday. I had a 15-year-old come up to me out of nowhere at this event where we're all having fun. A 15-year-old comes up to me and he's like, "Hey, for someone my age, what would be your number one piece of advice?" I'd say, do exactly what you just did. Approach people. I got that kid's digits. I'm going to put that kid on. You need to bring up these young guns. But yeah, no, that just reminded me. Thank you, Decod. I need to reach out to that kid.
Yeah, get him for a TikTok marketing, please. I'm not dealing with those weird people on TikTok. I can't.
But man, because if you want, like we can co-host a show on the channel. That could be cool. Do more content together. That would be nice.
Bro, invite me whenever you want. I love speaking. I love talking. It's why my because although I do work heavily for UGS and Sharky, I mean one of the biggest things that started me in this space was doing something on my own. And I made my own server, which was called like Linked. And I would join the VC every day, like every single day at like 8 a.m. And at first, like 2 or 3 people would join up and they would say, "Hey, Dakota, like, who are you?" And I'm like, "Well, this is my server. I'm just doing like a market overview. You can stay if you want and see if you like it." And then 3 people joined up the first day, 5 people joined up the next day, a month later, 20 people, 2 months later, 40 people. And then it got to the point where we had 150 people every single day joining up this VC. And then we became the most active server in the entire blockchain without an NFT. So it was like crazy. And so I'd love to bring that what I did at Linked to UGS and Sharky. It'll be a bit more difficult because again, NFT gated to some degree, right? You gotta like act, you hold to get in the holders chat. But again, that expertise is what I'm good at, and talking to people is what I like to think I'm good at. So I am going to be bringing that over to UGS and Sharky more consistently.
That's awesome, man. There is no secret. Like, just grind and like, exactly like you said. Like, talk to more people. Like, embrace like the community aspect of it, and like sharing, showing like to the people, not sharing just a project, but like sharing like a understanding of the industry. That's personally what I'm looking for when I talk to our founders. Like, talk to me about your project, but like, do you really understand what like the industry you're in? And that's why I do this podcast, and that's why like, it's I know like some like Decoders people on the server like listen to I think like FFF or even like Blocksmith. They listen to the Alex and Drax talking, and they bought an NFT after that. So when we are at that point, it's like mission accomplished basically, because then you invest for the right reason, not just because you hope that the NFT will 10x next week. But
there's
because
a lot
you
of
understand
people,
the founder.
There's a lot of people in this space that invest specifically in founders, like the person running it. And to be quite honest with you, Jake, Anton, Rhea, the people, the core team on Sharky have some of the best understanding of this space and the business world that I've ever seen. And it's a big reason why I actually work for them. I don't work for them for the paycheck or for the community or for the benefits. I do not. Like I although I'm not a self-made millionaire off NFTs like you are, I work for them specifically for the educational benefits, right? Learning from Jake, learning from Rhea, learning from Anton, learning from Biba, and being able to bring that back to UGS and Sharky on my perspective, and then my own server as well. So like the education has been absolutely insane, and I've only been on for the past month recently, month, and the education has been, something that it would take years to learn through a professor or through, a mentor. It's much faster in Web3, It's been very
like finding mentor is
crazy.
really important. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. See, Jack, you don't need to pay Dakota anymore. Like, you don't need the compensation. It's just like doing it for free.
Yeah, I'll start working for free. Maybe we get the TikTok kid.
What did you say, Jack?
Sorry about that. Yeah, I said I'll just pay him with little hidden grails of knowledge.
Yeah. But yeah, like, guys, I think we have done like all of the. You went through all of the questions I had for you, and yeah, maybe. Oh yeah, no, last one. Yeah, who should who should be the next guest on the show? Dakota, I know you have like your guest list ready already, so yeah, like who should I invite next, and you can make the intro.
I genuinely
next
think.
one.
Hold on. I genuinely think you should speak to. So I'm biased, right? But that's everyone's biased. I think that with what you're doing with Decoders is something that you should directly speak to Dan about. And Dan's the founder of Degenerate News, because people always tell me like Oogie and Bastards, right? So many people, like this is an example. People say, "Oh, Dakota, buy Oogie and Bastards. Oh, Dakota, buy Oogie and Bastards. Buy Oogie and Bastards." And then I ask them why, and they say, "Dude, the IP play, the brand, it's insane." And I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm like, this is not a brand. A brand is a household, something that you see or have on your device every single day. So, like for instance, with Core, with Sharky, I have Sharky preloaded to my Google. So, like when my Google loads up, their platform loads up. That's a brand. Something I see every single day and utilize almost every single day is a brand. Almost everyone in this space follows Degenerate News. They don't follow the Oogie account. They don't follow the Bastards account. No one has their notifications. They don't have a platform that you actively use. It's not a brand. It's a community with cool art. A brand is a household name. A brand is something that loads up with your PC every morning. That's a brand. So I genuinely think that with what you're doing with Decoders, you should speak to Dan. I'm a big fan of their project. Definitely biased because I hold. But I genuinely think like he's created a brand. Everyone in the space follows Degenerate News. Everyone.
Yeah.
So I think they have a lot of potential. But I do think you should have them on for next. Let's see Jake's opinion.
Yeah. So I actually have 3 people, right? And I'll put them in order that you should probably have them. First would be Litecoin Yagami. Do you know who that is, by the way?
No, I'm not sure I'm aware of him.
I'll connect with you. I'll connect him to you through the DMs. But yeah, you should have Litecoin Yagami on. Fantastic threader. Awesome story of how he got started in the space as well. Worked for UGS for a little bit, and just a great person. The next would be Jordan, JRDN.
Yes.
Great one-of-one artist, and he also has a pretty amazing story and like just a wild upbringing that I think will connect at a different level compared to a lot of people in the space. The next would be Cubs from Underground DAO. I think he also is probably one of the most genuine people I've ever interacted with in this space. Put me on to advisors, put me on into communities, never asked for a thing, never asked for pre-sale, never asked, like you said, for fucking a single thing. And it's people like that you need in this space, people that aren't trying to find an angle on what you're building, on how they can leverage it.
Yeah.
And surround yourself with good people. And so I think the 3 of those people all kind of have that.
That's cool.
That in common. And yeah, I'll connect you with them.
Nice. Okay. Thank you so much.
Definitely benefit from being on.
Fill up my lineup for the next 2 weeks. That's perfect. Thank you so much. Yeah, do you want to announce like any last word, any last announcement, any alpha that you want to share with like the audience before we closing up?
I think we shared quite a bit. I want to thank you again for having us on. I can't wait to come on again. And for the audience, just you fucking watch, guys. Just you watch who we're about to take out next.
Let's go. Dakota, do you have anything to say?
I don't know. There's some Sharky people in the audience. There's a bunch of UGS people in the audience. I think they're waiting for you to become a holder. I'm gonna keep pushing that on you. They're waiting for you to become a holder, and so is Jake.
Give me 5 minutes after the show, and you will see me in the. I already see it.
The community will welcome you with open arms.
Is that still okay? So I have my card. Okay. You know what? We can do it now.
You know, Jake, we spoke in a couple hours before this call, and Fitler was like, you know what, I'm just gonna have to sideline some liquidity to sweep this collection.
Move
And
some
I was like, yeah, you
ledgers.
just have to.
Is it? Yeah, like see, you have like one. Okay, no, I'm not saying. I have my eyes on one. I'm gonna buy this one. Okay, I will let you go because I know you're busy. But bro, I will be in the other chat in like literally like 1 minute. Just for match
100%,
recap
I'll see you
to synchronized.
I'll see you there. We'll welcome you with open arms. I think we have around 6 people or 7 people from the UGS community, or 10 actually from the UGS community here, so we can all say hi, and we'll see you. We'll see you later.
Awesome.
Excited to have you in there, brother. I'll talk to you soon.
Yeah, thank you so much, man. Yeah, so everyone from Twitter Space on the YouTube chat, YouTube live streaming, thank you so much for coming on the channel. Don't forget to follow Jake and Dakota. I think I have like their the link in the description to their profile. Buy a UGS, it's bullish. Buy a Sharky, it's like awesome. You know the project, like you understand what you have listed in the past hours. And yeah, like join also the Decod3rs server. Like if you watch that, you subscribe to the channel, you will get a whitelist for upcoming mints. You know the whole drill. Again, thank you so much, and we will see you in the next stream.